Spare guns or spare mags or both? What do you do and what do you feel is better? Personally, I do either way myself. I've carried and do carry either one firearm and a spare mag. I don't do multiples myself, but some people do. But other times I will have a primary firearm and a backup firearm, or this, depending on which feels appropriate due to your perceived level of risk, where you're going, what kind of situation you figure you're probably likely to wind up going into. So what's the good, what's the bad? Why would people do either one? Well, obviously the folks that are going with the multiple reloads, it's easier to carry a bunch of these, spare mags that you can just pop in there and reload, as it is opposed to carrying a bunch of these, full-size pistols. But I think a lot of these guys, personally, are the folks that have been watching too many of those World's Scariest Police videos. I really don't think that 99.9% of the folks in civilian concealed carry situations are going to need to expend all 16 rounds of a full-size, 15 or more rounds of a full-size service caliber weapon in a defensive situation. Not saying it's impossible, not saying it's never happened. Realistically, though, not very, very likely at all. I know there's the better to have and not need than need and not have philosophy behind that, but that is the whole idea of having a gun in the first place. If I can go through my whole life and never have to use this in an actual defensive shooting, I'll be a happy man. So, really, this covers a lot of your likely scenarios. Having a gun in itself is, you're leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of people. But the need to carry, 100 rounds or so of ammo, or even, 30, to me is a little excessive. That's just me, though. So there's the psychological aspect of it. There's also the perceived, the way people look at you. If they know you're carrying more than one gun, a lot of people, they see you carrying one gun, whatever size, whatever type, even this little guy here. Oh God, you're carrying a gun? But my gosh, you pull out 2 full-size ones, or they know you're carrying these things, or even just 2 small ones. What do you think you are, some kind of Rambo, some John Woo Chow Yun-Fat wannabe? What's up with that? Cops will think you're a freak. Heck, in some places, the legality of more than one handgun, in some places I don't believe will actually allow you to. Concealed carry permits in some places require you to register which firearms or firearm that you'll be carrying, and they kind of limit you to 1 in some places. Don't know specifically which locations offhand, but there's a legal issue for some folks, because it's like that perceived idea of, why do you need more than 1? Well, I don't know about needs, but there are definitely benefits to the so-called Chicago reload, New York reload. Hell, I call it the Phoenix reload, because it depends on what kind of city you're in. But one of the advantages of that, time it takes to reload even this, a full-sized pistol with a magazine, it goes pretty quick, but it's not instantaneous. You got to dig that thing out, pop it in there, rack the slide. Always, 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 9 times out of 9 times, 10 times out of 10 times, whatever, is going to take more than it's going to take to pull a second firearm. So if you run this dry, this is 6 rounds of 45 ACP plus 1 in the chamber. Not likely to even use that much, realistically, in a defensive situation, but if you do need to, there's another set, and all you gotta do is pull it and shoot. No loading, no fumbling with magazines, no racking of slides and possible short stroking of the slide to, create a jam or a no load. You just pull it and go. So faster, simpler. Also, the fact that things happen. These are machines. Machines fail. I don't care what brand, what type, revolvers even can fail for any number of reasons. Either the cylinder can seize up due to an ammo issue or manufacturing issue, or a semi-auto, of course, can jam. I don't care if it's a Glock, a SIG, whatever. I mean, even a car, you know, things happen. They're machines. They're built by humans. Humans are not perfect. They have defects, and they can fail, and will fail, usually at the worst time. So, if your primary malfunctions, here's your plan B. You have a second firearm, even if it's something as small and dinky as a 22. This is a 22 mag, but, you know, this is better than nothing, because all the reloads in the world aren't going to help you if your primary fails. I don't care if you're carrying 100 rounds. If your means of delivering those 100 rounds is incapacitated, you're SOL, buddy, because you might as well have a paperweight. You got nothing. So, multiple guns, it's kind of a plan B. It's better than having one that can fail and not having anything else. That's good for that sense. And it's faster. Also, you know, there is a negative to that, though. There's also carrying more than one gun is extra weight and is extra size. You know, it depends on how much real estate you got in your waistline or in your pockets, depending on how you carry. You know, if you carry it in your ankle, wherever, you're lugging around more mass because, you know, even a big magazine, quote unquote big, I mean, this is a full-size magazine, 16 rounds. They make 17, 30 rounds, whatever. It's always going to weigh less, fully loaded, than a second firearm, even this. I mean, this is still lighter than this little guy, and this is only 11 ounces, I believe, and this is the big one of these 22 things. This is just, you know, this is small, it's shorter. You know, even the tiny ones, I mean, they make a little 1-inch, 1 and 5/8 or whatever, you know, the really small short barrel, and the grip's only about there. It's still, you know, the magazine is almost the same size or smaller than that. So it's a size thing, you know. How much do you feel like lugging around? I don't know. Myself, I do either one. It just depends on perceived level of risk and what I'm carrying. If I'm going into, you know, just up the road to Wally World to get some milk or something like that, I will just probably carry one firearm by itself. Either be it, you know, the Sigma, because 16 rounds plus one in the chamber, I mean, that's more than some guns will have even with reloads. But if I do carry a single firearm, like this one here, which only holds 6 plus 1, if I'm going to a low risk situation, I might bring a spare mag, just because. This here is a Remora spare mag holster. You know, I just stick that in my waistband along with this, and it's still lightweight, and the odds of needing to burn through all this ammo, it's just not as likely. I mean, this is still fewer rounds than were contained in that Sigma. I mean, you're only talking 6 plus 6 plus 1, you know, 13 rounds versus 16 all ready to go in here. So, you know, it just depends on what kind of situation you expect to be possibly finding yourself. But I would not go so far as to just carry one of these by itself, or a pair of these even, because I mean, this is just, you know, a lot of compromises in here. You know, the manual of arms, you know, slow to fire, and, you know, of course the inherent unreliability of a rimfire cartridge, and the lower potency of even a 22 mag. So anyways, what do you guys do? I mean, what do you carry? What do you feel is sufficient, adequate, necessary for your needs or preferences? Do you go full size with reloads, or do you have, you know, do you go all John Woo and go 2 full size, or do you just go with a couple subcompacts? Do you go really small and go with a subcompact and a really small one, a little mini revolver? Do you have just a mini revolver by itself? I mean, what do you, tell me what you guys have. What you feel is your best means of carry. What is your preferred or perceived to be ideal in regards to that? Let me know. Comments, video reply, whatever. Anyways, for what it's worth, I go either way. Just depends on my needs and where I'm going and what I perceive as the risk of the situation. So, for what it's worth, it's my 2 cents on that. Thanks for watching.